from the very start of the wipe all the way to the end, there's a barter that you'll see usually out of stock, and it's pretty hard to get a hold of. The PP19-1 Zenit is a pretty kitted out PP19. But why on earth would people want to give a semi-rare piece of loot, a roller, for a 9mm submachine gun that only has a 700 RPM and can't hold anything bigger than a 30-round mag? Well, they don't, for the most part. And while yes, this is a tricked out PP19 that can be pretty effective if this is the route you want to go, people are usually after just making money or the attachments on it. So there are 6 attachments specifically on this gun that you can put on a plethora of AKs, and they'll cost you between 55 and 75,000 depending on what traders you have unlocked. And if you don't have any of them unlocked from traders, this is pushing 100k in parts. It's these 6 parts right here. You've got the PT3, the PT lock, which allows you to attach the PT3. The RP1 isn't worth much, but it's a little bit. The RK3, which is a really good pistol grip. The EOTech 553 sight, which a lot of people don't like it, but early wiper, if you're having trouble getting sights, it's another sight you can use. It's better than iron sights. And then lastly is the B10M handguard. Now, this isn't the best, but it is still pretty good, and it'll allow you to put a foregrip and a flashlight on just about any AK. Now, assuming you're using all these parts and you're not going to use anything else, even selling the rest of the parts, you'll look here, we'll sell all these to mechanic, you're going to net 36,000 rubles. That's almost all the way to recovering the cost of your roller, and you have all these other parts that you can use. I mean, the RK3 alone runs like 10k from the traders, and then you're talking anywhere from 18 to 30. I mean, 18 is low, but we'll say 20 to 30k most days when you're trying to use this if you don't have this unlocked. So that by itself covers all of the costs of the roller, just that one part, and that's not even getting into some of the others. Now, the other side of this is just to make some pure cash. If we look, the roller runs anywhere from 50 to 60k. We're a little bit expensive right now, but this is on the high end of the market with where I'm logged in. But let's just say you get this for 55k, right? This roller, when you go to sell this entire gun to mechanic, you get 71, almost 72k out of it, 71.2. Now, you're making right there 10, 15k, sometimes more if you get your rollers a little bit cheaper, just by selling the gun. And some people do that. Not a lot, because it's not a ton of money. It's kind of a pain, but they do. So just keep that in mind. If you do get an opportunity to get this barter, it's available, and this is why it's always sold out. Now, another barter that's a lot like this, and it's actually harder to get, is the Nerf gun. It's this Saiga right here with some pretty nutty attachments on it. Now, this will cost you about 275 to 300k to get it from Jaeger Loyalty Level 3. We'll get over there and look at him real quick so you can see it. You got to get 10 Sprats, 10 Aquamarines, and 10 cans of squash. These prices can be all over the place. That's why it's kind of a bigger range, but it doesn't really matter because even at the high end of 300k, you're going to be saving a ton of money with this barter. And this one reason alone is why it's always sold out, and that's because it has a FLIR on it. Now, these things are super expensive this wipe. I'm not totally sure why, but they run sometimes more expensive than Reaps. But you're seeing here 500k. We just spent 250, 275, 300,000 to get a scope that's worth 515 to 550 depending on the time of the day you're looking, and we still have the rest of the gun. You could sell the gun all the way back to mechanic, and we'll do that right here, and you've got 91k. So you're actually getting the FLIR for like 200,000, which is less than half price. So that's a big reason why this barter runs out so quick. Now, there are some other attachments on here that are worthwhile. You don't necessarily have to sell the whole thing. They can be kind of expensive, and it depends on where you're at in the wipe. You've got this canted RK1, which is pretty good. You know, it's plus 2 ergo and -3 recoil. You got the Purse 3 tactical device, these MOE stocks, which are, and the rubber butt pad, which are locked behind a trader, and they can be kind of expensive if you don't have the trader. The rubber butt pad alone goes for 20k. And then for some of the shotgun tasks, you can get the hexagon, the suppressor, and this saw grip. Those are all pretty useful. Just a little extra attachments that you can have off this Saiga. You don't have to use the Saiga, but you can make big bucks or at least save yourself some money by doing this if you're looking for some of these parts. Now, again, the problem with these two barters, as you can see right here, they are sold out, and they sell out very, very quickly. The PP19 goes in a couple of minutes. There's like 400 of these available to stock, but the Nerf gun only has like 40 or 50 in stock, so it goes pretty quick once it resets. Now, when you're going through this, keep in mind when the clock resets, like right now we got 2 minutes. I'll show you here what it looks like. It doesn't reset right away. It's some kind of bug between the traders and the server and the flea market. You just kind of have to stay on top of it and keep hitting refresh. Sometimes it happens as little as 10 seconds that the barter becomes available. Sometimes it's 30, 45 seconds. So just keep that in mind, that because the clock reset and you can't get it, doesn't mean it's sold out. Just stick with it for about a minute and you'll eventually get it. Now, on top of these two that are normally sold out or you have to camp traders to get a hold of, there's a handful here that I use pretty frequently when I'm low on money that'll make you some money and aren't sold out. So they're a lot easier to use and they're available to everybody. On mechanic loyalty level 2, you have two barters that I use all the time. One of them is this Osprey. Now, this has two purposes to it. This is a cheap way to get Ospreys. Ospreys run anywhere from 30 to 40,000. Right now they're on the cheap end, but they push 40,000 sometimes. They're also worth about 22 just selling to mechanic. And you can get two of them with the barter of a drill, which as you can see right now, we're selling for about 18, but I pick these up as cheap as 15, 16,000 sometimes. And so you can make a quick 6,000 bucks there, or get your suppressor for basically half price if you're putting these on, let's say vectors or MP9s or even pistols, anything that shoots 9mm. The second one's a little bit tougher, but during the right times of the day, you can get it, and it's for the LCDs. Now, it takes two broken LCDs to make one functioning LCD. The functioning LCD sells for 23.9 to Therapist, and your two broken LCDs, right there, you can get one for 8, one for 9, so you're 17,000. So that one barter can make you 5,000 rubles. The beauty of this is it's a limit of 10. You can do 10 of these each cycle. So if you see a bunch of cheap LCDs on the market, buy them up, barter them, boom, some quick money. And on top of that, it helps raise your trader rating. So not only you're raising your trader rating with mechanic doing the barter, you're raising your trader rating with therapist selling LCDs to her. Now, the last one takes a little bit more work. It's kind of where the Nerf gun is. It's Jaeger loyalty level 3, but it's kind of cool. It makes money, and it's really good at helping level up Jaeger's money. If you're stuck on how much money you have spent with him, barters apply to this. Now, it's kind of big ticket. It is this grenade case, and it does cost quite a bit of money. It's 5 of these Serval lighters, 15 of the hunter matches, and 8 repellents. If you get your survival lighters for about 12K, your hunter matches for about 11K, and about 8K on your repellents, you're going to make between 30 and 40K on this when you sell the grenade case to therapist. Now, it's going to cost you 280 to 300,000 to do this barter, so keep that in mind, but it can pay off for about 30 to 40,000 in profit. Now, I know I said the grenade case was the last one, but I remembered one, and it's one that I don't talk about a lot because I don't want them to get rid of it. It's one of my favorites, and it's this SA58 PBR. The biggest thing with it is you have to be level 38 because you need level 4 mechanic. This requires 4 Nixers, and that's it, 4 Nixers. This thing costs anywhere, you can get your Nixers sometimes down as cheap as 15 or 16,000. Sometimes they push 25,000, but we'll round about 20. So let's say it costs you 80,000 to do this barter. You get this SA58 that is part way on its way to being a meta juice cannon. So whenever I'm building one, I use this as my base. You take off a lot of these parts, right? You can take off the stock, we'll take off the suppressor, we'll take off all of this, but you get the long barrel, the grip, and the dust cover for a meta SA58. I mean, the barrel alone, if you're trying to buy the barrel for a long barrel SA58, can cost you 40,000 if you have it unlocked, but 50, 60 if you don't. So that right there almost pays for the Nixer lenses by itself, and you're not even counting the gun, the dust cover, or the grip. Plus, you can sell all these parts down here if you're not going to use them for a hefty sum. We're looking at, let's see here, let's just do it. You're looking at 60K. So you're getting 150, 160,000 parts worth of parts, if not more, for about 60,000. And that doesn't even include the base of the SA58, which if you want 100 out of 100 of these things, they're pretty expensive. You're talking 70, 80K to get one of these, and you don't always get the long barrel. Sometimes you're lucky, but most of the time you're not going to get the long barrel, and you're going to have to buy that as well. And then on top of all of this, you spent 80,000 on this barter, you can sell it for 108,000 right back to mechanic and not do anything and make a bit of money. So that's another one of my favorite barters out there. I don't usually sell it. I usually use it to build my SA58s because it's just the cheapest way to do it. This just all goes to show you that some of the best ways to save yourself money in Tarkov is using this barter system. You take a few minutes, a little bit extra time, and you're going to save yourself 10s, 20, sometimes 100,000 rubles on your single kit. And in the process, maybe even make a little bit of money on the side. Now, instead of digging into these things and trying to learn them yourself, just subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell. Whenever I come up with new ideas or occasionally I'll redo these barter videos, you'll be one of the first to see them, and you can take advantage before everybody else does. But with that, I'll say thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Tarkov.